Welcome to the 34th edition of WWMS. I am Chase Coburn, and later joined by our geopolitical friend, Arav Kapoor. Let's head into our joke of the week. What is the capital of Washington? The W. We hope you all enjoyed that very funny joke. Our very own Arav Kapoor sat down with the first selectman of our town, Bill Gerber. Let's see the best parts.
Mr. Gerber, welcome to the Geopolitical.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on your show, Arav.
So I'm so excited to have you here today. And to start, you have been living in Fairfield for a while. What makes Fairfield special to you and makes you want to serve public office here?
Well, you might hear this a lot, but the people are the main thing. There's some great people here. I moved here 28 years ago.
Wow.
And raised my kids here. And when my family and I, we were very involved with the town. My wife, Jessica, volunteered a lot. She joined the Board of Education, and she made me really attuned to what was going on in the school system.
Yeah.
And I really fell in love with our local elementary school, Osborne Hill, and made a lot of friends through there. And I just felt that the people in our neighborhood, especially and all over Fairfield, are very special.
Okay, so now on that note, what position did you hold before you became the first selectman? What position did you hold before you became the first selectman?
So following up on what I was just saying, so my wife was on the Board of Education, and I was just a dad commuting to New York. And one day I was watching Fair TV, and there was a meeting of the RTM, and one of my representatives from my district made a joke about how parents in the Osborne Hill School District were really going overboard, being concerned about PCBs and I stood up and I said, when my wife came home, I said, I'm going to run for RTM and I'm going to make sure I beat this woman, get her off the RTM. So I...
Favorite restaurant in Fairfield?
That's such a mean question to ask someone like me, because whatever I say is going to, hopefully no one will yell at me.
We can just say what's your favorite food if you feel better.
Well, I have to say one of my favorite restaurants. I'll say one of my favorite restaurants is Martell, where the Exide site is. That's now like a big field on Post Road.
Yeah.
It's at the end of it. It's a little restaurant, and a guy that I really like a lot. His name's Marty.
And in addition to this, it's been a big deal around town lately. On the same note of development, the UI wants to put these monopoles around town. So do you think that it's ideal to have these poles in town? UI said that these will modernize and harden the town's infrastructure in the long term. Do you think that building is going to constitute enough benefit?
We are fighting those monopoles. So it's really for United Illuminating's profit from other states. So these are the kinds of things that we object to, but there's really only one answer for us, and that's to bury the lines.
Thank you so much to Mr. Bill Gerber for coming on the show and joining me today. And as usual, the rest of the interview can be found on the Geopolitical on Apple, Spotify, alongside any other major podcasting platform. Separately, exactly 254 years ago, from March 5th, or this past Tuesday, was the Boston Massacre. During this time, in the year 1770, the controlling British troops in the 13 colonies continued their journey on what the Americans referred to as taxation without representation, meaning they had to send money to the British overseas but could not really have any say in the parliament or how the laws that they had to actually abide to were developed. As tempers rose on both sides of this conflict, after the British put the Stamp Act in place in 1765, which allowed even more taxes to be collected with the still same minimal level of representation on even more goods, the Patriots began protesting. Because of this, the British soldiers were ordered to fix their bayonets and join the existing crowd of soldiers outside the customs house on one protest on the night of March 5th. In response to this, Patriots began throwing snowballs and other objects at the troops, which kind of made them mad. before they hit Private Hugh Montgomery. Montgomery actually fired shots at this point, which prompted 4 others to do so as well, which killed a total of 5 colonists. Soon after, 2 of the soldiers were apprehended and they were put on trial, and they had the letter M branded onto their hand, meaning that they were murderers. Despite this incredibly small massacre, it wasn't even a massacre considering the immense size of other massacres throughout the world, it did help prepare America as a young nation for the Revolutionary War. And with that, you guys know the drill. Peace out, dudes!
A movie that came out a little less than a month ago is One Love, which is a great story about how Bob Marley overcame adversity to become, quote, the most famous reggae musician in the world. Bob Marley was one of the more likable singers in his time, recorded songs like Could Be Loved, One Love, Is This Love, get the pattern, and Three Little Birds, which have all become all-time classics. His peaceful tone made him an all-time great in the business, until his life came to an end at just 36 years old due to skin cancer. The movie, which has been out in theaters since Valentine's Day, will be available for streaming on Amazon Prime. Be sure to check it out. Let's transition to the basketball court, though, as Iowa's Caitlin Clark continues to shatter the record books in women's basketball. After already breaking the women's college basketball all-time scoring record just a few weeks ago, Clark continues to make history after breaking the overall Division I points record held by Pistol Pete Maravich for 54 years last Sunday, and is also 6th on the all-time assist leaderboard as well. After an NCAA tournament run last season that made Clark one of the more recognizable names for any sport at the collegiate level, the Hawkeyes and their star seem destined for another NCAA tournament run. And worst case scenario, Clark is not done, as she's projected to be the first pick in the 2024 NBA draft. I'm starting to wonder what this girl can't do with a basketball in her hands. Now, oh, what is that? We have breaking news. The Broadcast Club here at Fairfield Woods will be recreating Family Feud into Fairfield Feud here at Woods. 5 students from all grades and 5 teachers will be randomly selected for a 3-game tournament, 6th versus 7th and 8th versus teachers, the winners playing in the first ever Fairfield Feud championship game. If you happen to be selected and want to be a part of this competition, we will send you dates, details, and more information once we get close to filming. But everyone else, look forward to some more game show content here at Fairfield Woods. Now let's head into rapid fire segments. 60 seconds and ticking. While Caitlin Clark is making scoring history, so is LeBron James in the NBA. As the oldest player in the league in the middle of his 21st season, just eclipsed the 40,000 point mark, adding on to a scoring total that is already the highest in the history of the NBA. James, who is showing no signs of slowing down in 2024, is averaging 25 points and 8 assists per game. LeBron continues to make history, and Michael Jordan is starting to sit up as his once untouchable throne as the greatest basketball player of all time may no longer be his. According to Engadget.com, Apple is about to release many new items. The article states that on the Power On newsletter, Mark Gurman, a tech reporter for Bloomberg News, states that Apple is, quote, planning to announce the new products on its website with a series of online videos and marketing campaigns. Engadget.com says those products appear to be an iPad Pro and M3 MacBook Air. Gurman suggests the products will come out in the next 2 months, and if Apple decides to do this, it would be the 2nd consecutive year they have passed their spring event and announced new products beforehand. Now let's head into our trivia, the first of the month of March. What is one of Bill Gerber's favorite restaurants in Fairfield, Connecticut? How many years did Pete Maravich hold the points record before Caitlin Clark broke it just this Sunday? How many American patriots were killed during the Boston Massacre? Where will One Love be streaming? And what is Mark Gurman's job? Be sure to answer that. You can scan the QR code here at the top of the screen or click the link in the description below to participate in our trivia. Thank you all for tuning into this episode of WWMS, and be sure to check out a ton of new content that will be coming out on the channel soon, including our long-term project in Fairfield Feud. Thanks so much to a great behind-the-scenes crew, alongside our geopolitical friend Arav Kapoor. Signing off from Fairfield Woods Middle School, I am Chase Coburn, and we'll see you next time. Da 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 da. My best. Action. Take 3. Or please have this be the last one. Well, they won 7 Super Bowls, so take that for what you know. Can't see.
And the geopolitical YouTube channel, which
Let's go, boys. Let's go.